This is Top 30.
Welcome to the show. I'm Richard Bacon.
And I'm Kristen Smith. We have 30 stories in 30 minutes. Coming up, Amazon's got some explaining to do after its Alexa recorded a private conversation and then sent it to another user. New research shows a shocking influence behind our food choices, and the reunion of this service member and his dog will tug at your heart. But first, Memorial Day weekend symbolizes the unofficial start to summer, and with that comes the warning to never leave your children or your pets inside a closed car. New data from Consumer Reports caution it doesn't take hot weather to pose a deadly danger. It can happen year-round. Testing showed that even in mild weather, when it's 61 degrees outside, the temperature inside a closed car reached a sweltering 105 degrees in just 1 hour. CR's Director of Operations at the test center said children should never be left unattended in a car for even a short period of time. Even when it's not that hot outside, our test results show how quickly temperatures inside the car escalate, regardless of whether your car is light or dark. And parking your car in the shade also doesn't help, with researchers finding the same cabin air temperature in identical vehicles placed in the shade and the sun. Already this year, there have been 6 reported cases of a child dying after being left in a car. And in the last 30 years, the U.S. has averaged 37 deaths from it every year. Children have died from vehicular heat stroke in every season. So take every precaution and don't think just because it's a cold day, the inside of the car won't heat up.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I hear there is an interesting legal case involving McDonald's.
That's right, Richard. 2 McDonald's customers in Florida are suing McDonald's for $5 million over unwanted cheese. The plaintiffs claim a local restaurant used to charge less for Quarter Pounders without cheese, but kept the higher price when it removed the item from its menu. McDonald's says the suit has no legal merit. Are swimsuits returning to Victoria's Secret? The company's CFO says there's an ongoing discussion about bringing them back from time to time. The retailer stopped selling swimwear 2 years ago due to unprofitability. You might want to be careful about what you say around Amazon's Alexa. That's because a family's Echo sent a private conversation to a random contact without telling them.
And how has Amazon responded to this?
The company says the device was following commands from the conversation that ultimately led to it being sent. It called it an extremely rare occurrence and says it's taking steps to avoid this from happening again.
We sure hope so. Nicole, in New York, thank you.
Harvey Weinstein was arrested on Friday in New York City on charges of rape, committing a criminal sex act, sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct. The disgraced movie mogul was escorted out of the precinct in handcuffs. His bail was set at $10 million, and he will be required to surrender his passport and wear a GPS monitoring system. And Fiat Chrysler is recalling nearly 5 million cars, trucks, and SUVs in the United States because drivers may not be able to turn off the cruise control. The affected models include 15 Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, and Ram vehicles over a 6-year model period. And in honor of Memorial Day, watch as Major Bill Hoddup's dog gives him an enthusiastic greeting when he arrives home from his final deployment. So Major Hoddup, for 32 years of service and your 8 tours of duty, we thank you. Now let's go to Danielle Knox from Fox 35 Orlando. She has what you need to know today. So, Danielle, I hear some big brands may be in some trouble.
Hi, Kristen. That's right. For the first time in 50 years, some of the biggest household brand names in America getting beaten by the smaller brands. Companies like General Mills, Campbell's Soup, Clorox, Colgate, Hershey, and Pepsi, all struggling to show investors they can adapt to changing consumer tastes, while smaller brands are using the internet and Amazon to give consumers more options and better pricing. Well, more millennials are treating their pets like people. According to a survey by Ameritrade, they're even creating social media pages in their fur babies' names. And one of the most shocking parts of this survey is that millennials expect to spend more on their dog's health than their own lifetime health care costs. Well, if you can resist the temptation of a hot, cheesy slice of pizza, you're much less likely to struggle with your weight. Those are the findings of an appetizing new study out of England. Researchers found overweight participants presented with pizza experienced more mouth-watering and increased heart rates, while those who had no weight issues had no response. Researchers say the key to losing weight may be in controlling the pleasure response to food through the release of dopamine in the brain. And that's what you need to know. Kristen, let's go back to you now.
It's so tough, but we've got to have that self-control. Thanks, Danielle. And Top 30 will be right back.
Time now for Royal Watch with The Sun. Let's check in with the legendary Arthur Edwards, The Sun's royal photographer for 40 years. He joins us from his home once again. Arthur, welcome back.
Oh, it's great to be back, Richard.
Now, Arthur, there was people enjoyed the royal wedding. Record ratings in the United States of America. More people watched it here than watched William and Kate. You didn't have such a good day.
No, I didn't have a good day. I never got the right pass. I got doing the guests, you know, I did all the A-list Hollywood celebrities, but I never got the bride and groom coming down the steps and kissing.
That is heartbreaking for you, because this is about, I think, how challenging your job is as a royal photographer. You're like the main guy. You're the one the family like and know. But on a day like the wedding, every photographer turns up. Is it a bit of a fight? Are people in your way?
No, not that at all. We've got stands and we've got positions, but for some reason, Harry didn't want any newspapers there.
You didn't get a single picture in the paper?
Not one picture in the paper, no. It's a bit of a down day for me, you know, but I got Meghan on Tuesday and I got some really nice stuff there. The pictures from the Press Association were fantastic. All the stuff in the church, that was fantastic. You know, the bishop, everybody it was just a fantastic wedding. And look, I'll get over it, Richard. It might take me at least a year, but I'll get over it.
Thank you, Arthur. Always a pleasure. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See you next week, Richard. Take care.
After his son died in a tragic car accident, a Pennsylvania father decided to take his son's girlfriend to prom. Carter Brown was just 19 and was killed while driving home to surprise his girlfriend, Kaylee. She was very close with the family and ended up staying with the Browns for weeks as they mourned together. Carter's dad, Robert, said his son wouldn't want Kaylee to miss her senior prom. So after getting permission from the school, he told Kaylee, "Carter's not here to take you, but maybe I could be the next best thing." She agreed, and the two posed for prom pictures, including one with them holding a picture of Carter. Despite having heavy hearts, each said they had a good time and used the night to honor Carter and remember how special he was to each of them. Well, now let's go to Andrea Robinson from Fox 10 in Phoenix. She has this week's life hacks. So, Andrea, what do you have for us this week?
Hey, Kristen. This week's life hacks are all about kitchen hacks. And the first one is a perfect hack to get perfect white rice. When you're cooking it, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice to the pot as you steam the rice, and it will come out fluffy and restaurant perfect. We're staying in the kitchen for this next one, buttermilk. How many times have you grabbed a recipe and you don't have buttermilk? You can make your own. You take 1 cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and just like that, you'll have buttermilk. And lastly, we'll stay in the kitchen for this last one, perfectly crisp cooked bacon in 1 shot. You take a lined sheet, line it with foil, place the bacon out there on the foil, pop it in the oven, 400 degrees for 12 minutes. Halfway through, make sure you turn the bacon and it will come out perfect, crispy bacon every time. Kristen, that's this week's life hacks. Back to you.
You know, I'm always up for some tips and tricks in the kitchen. Thanks, Andrea. And Top 30 will be right back.
Welcome back to Top 30. Several women have accused Morgan Freeman of sexual harassment. A CNN report detailed allegations of unwanted contact and suggestive remarks on film sets, in media interviews, and at Freeman's production company. He's the most recent man to be accused of wrongdoing since the Me Too movement began. Freeman denies the allegations. Here's one example that they cite. One woman who worked on the set of Freeman's movie Going in Style, says the actor subjected her to sexually charged comments and unwanted touches on a near daily basis. There are also several entertainment reporters making allegations.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, wow, he's a legend. He's one of the most revered actors in film today.
Voice of God.
And he's the voice of God, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
You know, I think these accusations come, at least from the outside, as a big shock. But then you look at the witness accounts, and one quote, Mr. Freeman kept trying to lift up my skirt and asking if I was wearing underwear. I mean, the quotes, it's unsettling to say at the very least.
Some is verbal only. Not all of them are touching, are they?
Absolutely.
They differ.
Yeah. He does have 2 movies in the works. He has a voiceover campaign now on hold because of this. So it'll be interesting to see as things develop.
Big moment in the Me Too movement with all the Weinstein stuff. You know, let's see what happens.
For sure. Okay, a new study found the food we buy in stores or even order in restaurants could be affected by the music we're hearing. The researchers found that music playing at higher volumes was associated with less healthy eating options. The researchers say that's because louder environments increase stimulation and stress. And I don't know about you, but when I'm stressed, I like to eat a big, juicy burger. No, a lot of these subjects did go to, more greasy, fatty foods, whereas softer music has a calming effect and resulted in people making more deliberate choices.
Sound definitely affects taste. That's been proven. Do you know the difference between flavor and taste?
Flavor and taste. I don't know, but my mouth is watering just talking about it.
The taste is a combination of fat. Flavor is the individual food, and taste is when you add light and noise and how you're feeling that day and everything combines with taste. And sound definitely changes taste. So it's bound to be true.
It's no secret that music affects how we feel. I mean, instantly it can change how you feel emotionally. It's very powerful.
If I'm in a restaurant that's playing loud music, I actually eat fewer calories, not more. But that's because I walk out.
Yes, I could see that happening.
All right, Top 30, we'll be right back.
In today's hometown stories from Fox 35 Orlando, Aiden Morgan, now 8, battled a cancerous brain tumor when he was just 3 years old. And while he was able to beat the disease, Aiden was left blind in the process. But that didn't stop him from pursuing his love of reading. As soon as Aiden was well enough, his mom, Tiffany, taught him how to read Braille. And now 5 years later, Aiden is the Florida State champion in his age group in a Braille competition. Now he will have the chance to compete at nationals in Los Angeles. In our second story from Fox 46 Charlotte, the nonprofit Inmates to Entrepreneurs aims to help inmates empower themselves to start their own businesses after they get out of jail. This is meant to help former inmates overcome the bias against hiring felons that many employers have. Brian Hamilton founded the group 10 years ago, and more than 1,000 people have graduated from its 8-week course.
They're just regular people. They made mistakes. They get out, they want to work, right? They want to become productive. But there are systemic discriminations against these people in getting jobs.
And in our final story from Fox 10 Phoenix, an 8-year-old girl from Mesa, Arizona won the National Nicholas Maxim Award, which is given to special needs students for their mastery of handwriting. Emma Laird has spina bifida. It requires her to walk with leg braces. But despite her challenges, Emma has pursued her love of learning. She even keeps a notebook to write down stories. And now she has a big trophy to show off after all of her hard work. Welcome back to Top 30. A Washington State teacher is making headlines for his reaction to a student falling asleep in class. Monty Siri posted a series of tweets explaining how he let the student sleep because she was exhausted from an early math class. She had chores on her parents' farm. She had track practice and what he called adolescent angst. So the response to this has been overwhelmingly supportive. However, there are those who say, wait a minute, so I have an exhausting life, and I'm not allowed to sleep in class. We all have issues. Are you going to do this every time someone falls asleep in class?
Well, the answer to that is no, he isn't. And I think he's basically wonderful, this teacher. I find it slightly annoying it's in the news, allowing people who don't know that very much about the situation to have really strong opinions.
Yeah.
And he makes his point. He wrote, I know we all somewhat subscribe to this notion that there's a right way of doing things, and letting kids sleep in class falls outside the boundaries. I get it, and I'm not suggesting we make it a permanent part of our repertoire or routine, but I am suggesting that we sometimes trust our instincts, even if it goes against the grain, maybe especially if it goes against the grain. I'm not always convinced the grain best considers kids.
Yeah.
It's a one-off, it's not a precedent for the school or the country,
Yeah.
and he's basically a decent human.
I agree.
Is it too hot or too cold in your office? Almost half of workers complained about the temperature in the workplace, according to a new survey, and 15% of people said it actually led to an argument with a co-worker. And quite a lot of people just changed the thermostat without asking permission.
I am always freezing in this television studio, so much so that we have a furniture blanket over there. You guys can't see off camera. A big old furniture blanket that I just drape around me.
And it's okay keeping TV studios cold. David Letterman used to keep his studio cold, so I keep guests on the edge. I think too cold is better than too hot. Too hot is much harder to deal with.
Yeah, we'd be sweating.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
But no, it's funny. There's arguments over thermostat, and there are people who secretly just change it when no one's looking.
Yeah, 22% of female employees argue about the temperature compared to 7% of men. So I think we just have more petty issues sometimes, and we like to voice those opinions.
And it's an issue that will never be resolved.
All right. Well, how about this story? A team of international scientists is headed to this body of water in Scotland to determine whether a legendary creature actually lives here.
It doesn't.
This picture, released in the 1930s, helped create a frenzy over the existence of the Loch Ness Monster. While the photo was later revealed to be a hoax, the tales of the creature's existence still live on today. And so scientists are going to do, you know, some serious research, take water samples from all around this body of water, and then compare it to a database.
Can I just address scientists for a second? Which is, scientists, it takes so many years to become a scientist. You've done so much learning, so much education, and you're so skilled. Please cure every single terminal illness you haven't yet cured, and then go and waste your time looking for a monster that definitely doesn't exist. The photo was a hoax. There's no example of a species in the world that in which there's only one version of it. We know it's not there.
You're very passionate about the Loch Ness Monster.
It's been good for Scotland.
Well, they should have their results by the end of this year, and they'll probably find no Loch Ness Monster.
No, but cancer will still be with us. Top 30 will be right back.
Welcome back to Top 30. Ever feel a sharp pain when drinking a cold beverage or maybe eating a sugary treat? Well, according to surveys, 50% of the population have suffered from tooth sensitivity. One of the biggest causes? Aggressive brushing, which is why we've got today's Top 30 deal, the ultrasonic silicone toothbrush by Exit. The extra gentle antibacterial silicone bristles massage gums and prevent damage from overbrushing, giving you a cleaning that's pain-free. Available in blue or green, it offers many features like 13 vibration levels, deep cleaning mode, and a reversible tongue cleaner for optimal oral health. You'll get 2 toothbrush heads and a USB charger, perfect for when you're on the go. The ultrasonic silicone toothbrush retails for as much as $130, but today you can buy it for just $39. That's about a 70% discount. And you can get this right now at top30deals.com while they last. Well, major music acts are hitting the road for summer tours, and Elizabeth Stanton from Popstar Magazine has the details on which ones are making a splash. So, Liz, I hear one star is touring for the first time in 3 years.
Hi, Kristen. That's right. This summer, Taylor Swift is taking her Reputation Stadium tour on the road and leaving her former good girl image behind. Reputation, with Swift's 6th studio album, has reportedly sold over 2 million albums in the US, and sales are still going strong. The tour launched on May 8 in Phoenix, and tickets are on sale now for the remaining dates through her October 6th finish in Arlington, Texas. And so far, it looks like Swift has pulled out all the stops. The stage features 110-foot tall video screens, and giant inflatable snakes make more than a few appearances. If you're wondering why Taylor went all in with the snake theme, it looks like she's trying to reclaim the image after a very public spat with Kim Kardashian in 2016. Kim branded Taylor a snake on social media after Taylor allegedly misrepresented a phone conversation she had with Kim's husband, Kanye West, to the media. So it looks like the bad blood between Taylor, Kim, and Kanye isn't going away anytime soon. All we can hope is that one day they can, that's right, shake it off. Back to you, Kristen.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Liz.
Large companies in Canada have joined forces to bring employment to 40,000 Canadian youth over the next 5 years. The coalition is called Opportunity for All Youth, and big names like Walmart, Starbucks, and Chipotle are all on board. Job fairs will be held where the 8 companies included in the movement will look to hire youth between the ages of 16 and 29 who face employment barriers like lack of education or training. Starbucks Canada's VP of Public Affairs says these youth really appreciate the opportunity. Their engagement is higher, their tenure and commitment is higher. It really is a win-win. The coalition is currently focused on Canada's major cities like Toronto. Welcome back. Tesla has been accused of misleading customers about how much its cars can drive themselves. The Federal Trade Commission has been asked to investigate the car maker by 2 consumer groups. Consumer Watchdog and the Center for Auto Safety say that marketing materials about Tesla's autopilot features can lead consumers to think its vehicles are self-driving. The autopilot system includes enhanced cruise control and partially automated steering and braking, but the complaint, says Tesla's website, described the feature as full self-driving hardware. It also cites a video that the company says shows the car driving itself. The letter reads, in part, 2 Americans are dead and 1 is injured as a result of Tesla deceiving and misleading consumers. In March of this year, 1 person in California died when their Tesla hit a highway divider and burst into flames. Another fatal crash happened in Florida. Tesla says its owners understand the autopilot feature. The FTC says it will take the complaint seriously.
Okay. Well, that's it for today's show. Here's what's coming up on the next Top 30. Everyone loves to shop online, but according to a new report, it could end up costing you money. We'll tell you why. Plus, research shows a soda tax is having a big impact on the way Americans consume those sweet and sugary drinks. And we'll tell you about the teenager who may have figured out a solution to the Flint water crisis. You can also listen to the day's biggest stories when you subscribe to the new Top 30 podcast on iTunes. We'll see you next time here on Top 30.